gave this information on the 6 p.m. Eastern Sports Center yesterday as to why he is asked out.
He has not received the contract he has wanted. The two sides have not made any type of meaningful progress. And while he awaits a new deal, he's lost confidence that he can get it from Washington. And so a team that is awash in good vibes now has its first negative story, a controversy that hangs over this franchise. Its popular, respected, talented wide receiver Terry McLaurin now has asked to be traded. Now, the Commanders have had no interest in moving on from Terry McLaurin, but I know there have been other teams that have been monitoring the situation, waiting to see if the circumstances change. Now that McLaurin has requested a trade, we'll see if that does anything to loosen Washington's grip on him. But up until now, the Commanders have had zero interest in moving on from McLaurin. He's shaking it up. He's now requested a trade.
Guys, there may not have been over the last year and a half a franchise with a better Q rating than the Washington Commanders, right? Likability, belief long term, doing everything with a smile on their face. Dan Quinn loving, Cliff Kingsbury having these offers to go elsewhere as an OC. Nah, I'm going to stay here. There's something here. Now, as Adam said, this is the first hurdle that they have experienced. Is it a self-inflicted wound? Is it on McLaurin? Could we see him out? What is your reaction to this, guys?
Yeah, with these contract negotiations that we have been discussing, whether it's Trey Hendrickson, Micah Parsons, or Terry McLaurin, the main threat is, what are they doing? And with the Washington Commanders, that one holds firm because you're right. They have had a high Q rating. Jaden Daniels helped transform that franchise, and they have not been this good. And we have not spoken this positively about this franchise in decades. This has not happened in a long time for Washington. And you have this special quarterback in Jaden Daniels that took you from a 4-win team to the Final Four in his rookie year. You know that you have to capitalize on this window while he's on this rookie deal. You go out there, you fortify the offensive line so he has more protection. You get him more weapons in Deebo Samuel. Why do you want to disrupt that growth? Why do you want to disrupt the timeline in any way by messing with Terry McLaurin, his number one target, a guy who's been a great soldier, quote unquote soldier for you when the years were lean, a guy who's shown up and been productive and been with you through the trenches. He's not just showing up when things are good and asking for a bag. There's been an evolution for Terry McLaurin there. And I'm really surprised that the organization has taken this stance and they haven't made sure that this deal got done ahead of training camp.
Yeah, I don't understand it. It makes no sense to me. This is a guy that from a culture standpoint embodies everything you want your program to be about. Since he's come in the league in 2019, Terry McLaurin is top 10 in receiving yards, with over a half a dozen different quarterbacks throwing him the football. Uber productive. Over the last 3 years, nobody has more contested catches, more tight window catches than Terry McLaurin. I don't understand why you don't want to pay this guy. See, sometimes these organizations, these front offices, they can operate in these negotiations with a tad bit of hubris. And it feels like that's what's happening with Adam Peters right now. Sometimes the worst thing that can happen to you in sports and in life is to have success early on because you think you know it all. And you try to hardline every single negotiation. You try to win every deal. Well, here's the thing that every successful business person knows. You can't win every deal. Every contract negotiation ain't going to be a deal. Sometimes it's just getting the contract signed. And in this instance, that's exactly what needs to happen with Terry McLaurin because he means so much to Jaden Daniels' development. I don't understand why the Washington Commanders are taking this approach with somebody that from a locker room chemistry standpoint, from an on-field production standpoint, brings everything you want to the table. To this point in his career, Terry McLaurin has not been disruptive. He has been a good soldier. I can point to several games last season where you look at Terry McLaurin and you say that guy and his ability to come through in the clutch with big-time plays is the reason why they won the game. And I don't understand why they're treating him like this. Last point. If Adam Peters is willing to do this to Terry McLaurin, then he's willing to do it to anybody in that Commanders locker room. And that might be one of the worst messages you could be sending to the rest of the guys that are involved in your program after having so much success early on.
Or they're just they're just completely sold. They have a franchise quarterback and none of the other positions matter as much. I mean, in a way, I actually look at some of the stuff that's going on as the extreme vote of confidence in Jaden Daniels, that they are sold after 1 year, which is, to me, I don't think you'd be sold after 1 year with anyone doing anything.
Right.
I think that's a little, like...
That's a risk.
I wonder if the Cavs are like, after 1 year, like, all right, LeBron's going to be the second greatest player of all time. They had to have one question, right, after 1 year. I think all of this is, he's going to make up for everything else forever. Like, all right, Terry McLaurin's an A receiver at 31 years old. We don't want to pay him that way. We're going to pay him like a B receiver because, like, we got that other guy. And they may be wrong on that. That's where, to me, it's dangerous. I actually still think you have to operate like he's going into a second year, and he's not necessarily going to be as good this year as he was last year, even if he's better. I just think you got to be careful with that. But here's the other thing. First of all, I don't believe he's going to get traded. I don't believe any of these guys that request trades in the NFL actually get traded. Like, I think that it's just a negotiation point. But if you trade him, don't you have to trade him for another player? What's the point if you're a win-now team of trading him for picks?
Well, that's the part that contradicts what you said earlier, and they believe and they have a guy in Jaden Daniels. It's not like they didn't know this Terry McLaurin contract issue was coming down the pike. And if you believe that Jaden Daniels can operate the offense with or without T-Mac, then why wouldn't you entertain trading him before the draft, before free agency, when you have more optionality to replace him?
Exactly. You were critical of them for not signing him long-term. I'll be critical for that. That's a good point. That's my critique.
Well, I mean, it's either or. Once free agency and the draft came and went, then the assumption would be that you're going to sign Terry McLaurin, because right now you'd be hard-pressed to move on from Terry McLaurin and bring a player back in your program that can have the kind of impact on winning that he presents.
Then that's the move.
So that's the part that they made a mistake on. Now, to your point about players not getting traded, listen, let me tell you something. Now that he's in camp and he's got the hold in with the ankle injury, I mean, the ball is in the Commander's court. Because if this guy refuses to play, well, let me not say it differently, refuses to push through whatever ankle ailment that he has, then all of a sudden you're on the hook paying Terry McLaurin his salary and he ain't giving you no work. So
right, something, just an unrestricted free agent after the season at that point.
So something has to give. We're not getting anything for him. So eventually we're going to have to pay him or we're going to have to trade him, because we've got to do something with that slot. We've got to do something with that cap space. So this is putting a lot of pressure on the Washington Commanders to make the next move right now. This is on them.
Your point's a great one. Like, under my premise, if you knew you weren't going to pay him now, you should have traded him earlier and then use those picks to either go get somebody else, bring in somebody else, use the open roster spot, whatever it may be. Anyway, however you want to get there, this is as Adam said, this is the first hiccup with this regime, and it's pretty damn public.
Yeah, it's a tinge of arrogance with how the Commanders are operating. Just a tinge.
We're on Sportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance.
We look over like 15 minutes before the show starts, and your hair just starts going. You're spinning in the seat because news is coming in that Terry McLaurin of the Washington Commanders has requested a trade. What is the latest?
Yeah, well, he has wanted a new contract all year long. He wasn't there for any of the offseason program. He held out the first 4 days of training camp. On Sunday, he showed up. Now, 4 days later, he's asking for the trade. I don't know what the team is going to do. I don't know that they know what they're going to do. Obviously, this could be the thing that kickstarts the final discussions, but he is due to make $15 million. The market is more than twice that amount now, so they need to do something or he's not going to be happy, and he's clearly not happy.
Yeah, but we know he's good. He's been a Pro Bowler in 2 of the last 3 seasons, been a 1,000-yard receiver for the last 5 seasons. And speaking of contract talks, let's talk about Dallas and Micah Parsons. And the latest there, as we thought maybe this offseason they would come to negotiation and agreement, and we have not seen it yet throughout camp.
He made his debut 4 years ago on this field as a rookie, played a whole quarter, and now here we are. He is overdue to be the highest paid defensive player in football. The problem is the Cowboys like to negotiate directly with players.
Gotcha.
And they went to him in March and they said, hey, we got a deal. He said, call my agent. they still have not called his agent. They've talked to his agent about other players, about other things. They have yet to call his agent and engage him with Micah. So until that happens, he's at $24 million this year. The magic number is 41, and we just wait to see if the phone is going to ring and they're going to call his agent to try to get this done.
Yeah, and he's come to camp. He's just limited himself.
He hasn't practiced.
Right.
He's not, and that's the smart play. Until you get your security, that's the smart.
Cowboys Nation, we might be about to witness history in the making. Terry McLaurin, yeah, Scary Terry, has officially requested a trade from the Washington Commanders. And let me tell y'all something. According to multiple league insiders, the Dallas Cowboys are now considered the top destination for the two-time Pro Bowl wide receiver. And listen, I know we've had big rumors before, but this one, it's got legs. Because with CeeDee Lamb already playing like the best receiver in the NFL and George Pickens entering his breakout year, imagine adding McLaurin to that group. That's not just a dangerous trio, that's a Super Bowl trio. Stick with me because we're gonna break down why McLaurin wants out, why Dallas makes the most sense, and what it would take to form the most terrifying WR core in the league. Let's go. This all went down Thursday night when Terry McLaurin officially requested a trade after contract talks with the Commanders stalled. He's made it clear over the past few months that he's frustrated. He skipped minicamp, he's holding out of training camp, and now he's finally pulling the plug. McLaurin's been one of the most consistent receivers in football. Over the last 5 seasons, he's posted 1,000 plus yards each year. A career-high 13 touchdowns last season, while catching passes from 11 different quarterbacks since 2019. 11. This guy is reliable, explosive, and respected across the league. And now he wants out of DC? You better believe Jerry's phone is already ringing. Now let's talk destination, and let's be real. There's only one team out there that makes football sense, money sense, and Super Bowl sense for Terry McLaurin, and that's the Dallas Cowboys. Why? Because this offense is one elite move away from being unstoppable. CeeDee Lamb, top 3 WR in the game. George Pickens, a young freak with elite sideline control and contested catch ability. Terry McLaurin, a route technician, deep ball weapon, and YAC monster. You line those 3 up. Defensive coordinators are going to be pulling all-nighters trying to game plan. McLaurin's presence instantly frees up Lamb from double teams, opens the middle for Pickens, and gives Dak another dependable weapon who doesn't drop the ball under pressure. Let's talk business. McLaurin is in the last year of his deal, and he wants over $30 million a year, and he deserves it. The Cowboys can structure a deal similar to what they did with CeeDee's pending extension. Front load a bit, give McLaurin the security he wants, and keep the core together for a 2 to 3 year Super Bowl window. So what does the trade look like? Proposed trade package, 2026 second round pick WR Jalen Tolbert, and possibly a conditional 5th rounder depending on production. That's a fair price for an elite WR1 who's ready to contribute immediately. And folks, imagine this trio on Sunday Night Football. Dak Prescott drops back, Lamb across the middle, Pickens down the sideline, and McLaurin streaking deep. You cannot cover them all. This move wouldn't just make us contenders, it would put us over the top. We've already got a top 5 defense. Add McLaurin to this offense, and now you've got a unit that can go toe-to-toe with the Eagles, the 49ers. And even the Chiefs last year, we struggled with consistent WR2 production. This fixes that, and then some. And let's not overlook what McLaurin brings in the locker room. The guy is respected, he's mature, and he works his tail off. That's the kind of presence that fits perfectly in the star. Alright, Cowboys Nation, it's your turn now. Do you want Terry McLaurin in Dallas? Would you give up a 2nd and Tolbert for a shot at a Super Bowl? And be honest, would McLaurin, Lamb, and Pickens be the best WR trio in the NFL? Sound off in the comments below. I want to hear from the real ones. And if you're excited about the idea of this trio lighting up defenses, hit that like button right now. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe so you don't miss a second of this wild offseason. And hey, share this video with every Cowboys fan who wants Jerry to push all the chips in.